our reaction to Yuki Tsunoda
replacing Liam Lawson at Red Bull. No, that wasn't a joke intro. It's real life. I am in Sweden right now for the F1 Sim Racing World Championship. This news has started to break, and I am balancing my iPad on a sideways bathroom bin, which is magnetically attached to the cover of my iPad to be able to record the YouTube side of this video. And in the audio side, I have to do a big shout out to Alex Jakes, who allowed me to borrow his microphone. It's a big shout out to him. He is the GOAT. But I just wanted to give some context as to the absolute levels that we are going to for this podcast, Tommy.
We're not missing this one for the world. And I did not expect to be doing a driver announcement or driver replacement literally 2 weeks into the F1 season. What on earth is going on?
2 race weekends is all Liam Lawson was given, and now your GOAT, Tommy, Yuki Tsunoda, is stepping up to Red Bull. I think everybody needs to understand your emotions and feelings right now, because I reckon it's not all elation.
No, it's a lot of nerves. My first thoughts of this whole thing is just simply insane. It's been 2 races, like we said, 2 weeks. Liam Lawson has been a driver. We remember saying about like Pierre Gasly, for example, and how harsh it was that he got replaced after half a season. This is 2 weeks, and they've got rid of him. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of these people that wanted Yuki Tsunoda in the first place, but oh my word, how has this happened already? This is utterly insane.
So we're diving into our first thoughts, which I think is our reaction to this news. Of course, Ralf Schumacher apparently is the oracle, and he's the one that decided to tell everybody that this was happening. And you're thinking, oh, is he just playing games with Red Bull or, whatever? And then obviously we have other journalists start to report it. And, we're good citizens, aren't we, Tommy? We wait until the official news before we jump on it, just to make sure, because you never know, Red Bull could change their mind at the last minute and go, actually, 2 races is kind of harsh, guys. Because that is literally my first reaction is, as much as Liam Lawson was terrible in those first 2 races, you can't say it's anything other than that. He's coming up to 2 races that he actually has experience racing around in Super Formula in Japan, and he's done that track, and then he's done Bahrain pre-season testing. What has gone on behind closed doors at Red Bull where they've gone, he doesn't even deserve that, we need to make the change now? Like, it is code red. Like, when you think of it from a PR perspective, it is terrible for Red Bull to see a driver that they're supposedly bringing up to the big leagues, and yes, you've earned your opportunity in quite a quick time, to then demote him immediately back to Racing Bulls is savage.
And it's so embarrassing as well that when Liam was put in that car, there were a lot of people, a lot of chatter about why isn't Yuki Tsunoda in that car? He deserves a chance, had a lot of experience, he's done everything they asked of him. And there was such a huge outpour of people going, Tsunoda deserves a chance. And for Red Bull to go, absolutely not. It's all about Lawson. And then barely even give him a chance and go, okay, yeah, we were wrong. I don't see how Red Bull is anything other than a huge embarrassment for them. Even if Yuki does well or bad, it's embarrassing either way for them.
Let's get into the first question from P1 Patreon member Katie. Could this be a career ender for Yuki? Now, this is a good question, right? You do wonder. Yuki goes there. He has the same problems as Lawson, which in some ways you would kind of forgive him for struggling in these first few weekends, because he's not had pre-season testing in this car. He hasn't had much time at all in any sort of pre-Red Bull. Of course, not this year, but in previous years gone by, Yuki doesn't have a huge amount of experience. Of course, he's said in the media, it wasn't that hard to drive, yeah. Oh, I'm all good. Don't worry about me. I'll do the Red Bull seat. He doesn't have enough experience to be able to go, he's ready right now. So I don't think it will be a career ender for him. However, they do have other drivers waiting in the wings. Lindblad is one of them that is taking a lot of headlines at the moment for sure. And you do wonder who will be the one to potentially fall as a domino here.
we now know, and this is what we've spoken about even before we knew Lawson would be replaced, that yes, that seat is a bit of a, well, to say it lightly, it is a poison chalice, but Yuki can't refuse it. It looks way worse on Yuki Tsunoda to refuse a top seat for his career than it is to go into that Red Bull and maybe not be particularly great, because he's almost got a bit of a buy-in anyway with how bad Lawson has been, that even if he does perform not great, everyone will just kind of go, well, we know that car's terrible and no one else can drive it other than Max. So yeah, it's he has to go for it. You have to take that opportunity at a big team.
For sure, and as long as he does better than P20 in the next 2 races, then I don't think it can be a career ender for him, because he has been really impressive at racing bulls. He has that to fall back on. But it's just such a bizarre situation. I didn't think it could get any worse than when we were discussing Perez, and here we are. Next question, P1 Patreon member Sophie. Do we think the timing has anything to do with the fact it's Yuki's home Grand Prix? I think it has more to do with Honda and saying, look, well, actually, it's a disaster with Lawson. Get him in. We're paying money for Tsunoda to be part of this programme. We want him in. Home Grand Prix will look amazing as long as he does pretty well, which I hope for his sake he does. But yeah, for sure, I think that there's got to be some element of Home Grand Prix Yuki Tsunoda in a Red Bull there. And I'm sure Honda have also been banging on the drum for years now about having this opportunity for Yuki that they haven't been able to get until this moment. So, yeah, I think Japan being the 3rd race of the season has I was going to say worked in Yuki's favour. I don't know. We don't know if this is going to be a terrible move.
Yeah, was he going to win in the V-Carb anyway? Because it's absolutely amazing. It's huge. It's absolutely enormous publicity for Honda, and there's a lot of rumours that Honda actually paid maybe between 10 and 20 million offer of Red Bull in the first place to take Yuki on board, and Red Bull said no. So now, after 2 races,
and now Honda are like, we'll give you a tenner now, because clearly you want him.
Exactly, but Honda, the publicity that they'll get from a Japanese driver being in that top team, regardless of if we think, is it even the better car right now, to be in that team that won the Drivers' Championship last year and has won the Constructors' Championship so many years in a row previously, is a massive, massive thing. So yeah, it's going to be huge for Honda and huge for Yuki. Like, what pressure in your home race to have to deliver in the Red Bull.
This leads us on quite nicely to our next question from P1 Patreon member Luca Cuzzi. What happens if Yuki performs the same? Where do they go? If Yuki Tsunoda has the same struggles, as I kind of mentioned earlier, he does have more excuses in the fact that he's literally been dropped in the car out of nowhere for the Japanese Grand Prix. But then they kind of, I think for Yuki Tsunoda, he has more things to save him to keep that seat for at least the season over Liam Lawson. Lawson, I think, was obviously a little bit of a punt. They didn't know exactly how he was going to do. He didn't have the financials to save him. And he didn't really have the public support either. It's not like a Daniel Ricciardo situation. He's massively loved. He's a huge asset to the team. Lawson didn't have that. And he also didn't have serious cash money to save his bacon either. So for me, I think Yuki will be given more time, even if he does struggle in Japan.
Yeah, I agree. We're in an absolutely insane situation now where even if Yuki manages to qualify like P10 or something in that Red Bull, people will be calling him the greatest of all time, because it is
100%. You will. So you say people, you mean you.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's so true, because Lawson, because the benchmark is literally 20th. I do feel very bad for Lawson because he just needed more time and he's not going to get that. But Yuki surely will, even if Yuki Tsunoda does qualify 17th, 18th in the first race. You know, he'll have another race and then another race, and then he goes to Bahrain where, like we've said, he's had lots of testing before and things like that. So there's much more of an opportunity for him to perform.
Question from P1 Patreon member Captain Obs 3420. Could this also be considered good news for Liam? Yes, he was humiliated in the Red Bull, but now he will be in a car that's easier to drive and comes with less pressure. I think it's a good and bad thing for him. Bad being that, as Captain Obvious, that he was humiliated in those 2 races for sure. It's not easy in the slightest to see your teammate up at the front and you're tootling around at the back, especially last in qualifying. It is almost kind of like cutting your losses quickly here with this one. Like, it's not the end of Lawson's career by any stretch. If he pops in a P6 in qualifying in Japan, everyone will go, oh yeah, Lawson was good. Oh god, yeah, I forgot we were all hyping him up last year. But I think for Liam, yeah, he probably remembers how the Racing Bull kind of drives. So I don't think it'll be a massive step for him. He's probably there and just be like, oh wow, okay, so the front end isn't just literally on insane sensitivity like I'm playing Call of Duty on 100.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if Lawson actually does very well in the V-Carb, and I don't think many people will be. It almost wouldn't be a shock for Lawson to do a good job. Unfortunately, even if you believe, and I think I do, that it is unfair that this is the case, but it will always be a kind of black mark on your career that you've gone into a top team and not performed, even though it is against Max Verstappen in that car that so many others have failed. You look at Pierre Gasly, he literally won a race for AlphaTauri at the time. You know, yeah, he's got the move to Alpine, but would a Mercedes or a McLaren or a Ferrari take him with that knowledge that he didn't perform at Red Bull? Some will say yes, but there'll always be that kind of doubt in the back of your mind, even if it is maybe unfair, because they went up against Max, and we know how no one has performed in that car alongside Max.
Yeah, it's tough, but for Lawson, he hasn't even had a full season in Formula One. So are we really surprised on paper that he has struggled? I mean, we put him in P8 in the championship. I saw some people going, P8, guys, that's a bit harsh on him. He's going to be easy top 5. And he's been right at the bottom. Question, this one will be interesting, from P1 Patreon member Drip. Could Daniel Ricciardo return if Yuki Tsunoda struggles? I'm not ruling it out. I really am not, because Danny Rick is the kind of last guy that had any idea how to drive a Red Bull in a really good fashion and to be somewhat similar to Max. I know that Max got the upper hand in that relationship, but I'm not saying it. I'm not categorically saying anything to do with the Red Bull driver lineup. So a small slither of hope, I reckon.
I can't see it happening, but then I could not see it happening, him joining AlphaTauri and replacing Nick de Vries.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said to me, didn't you, on the podcast, there is
no way Daniel Ricciardo goes to the B team.
He's going to go to the second team.
And he did. He came back. And never say never, because Red Bull are desperate now. It's such an embarrassing situation to just be churning through driver after driver at this team. And if Yuki doesn't perform well, maybe there is a part of their mind that, you know, Christian Horner, we all know, loved him and really wanted him to get in that car anyway in the first place and succeed, that maybe they do just go, well, actually, how you do in a V-carb has absolutely no relation to how you do in a Red Bull anyway. Maybe their approach now is it almost doesn't even matter how you do in those kind of performances of other teams. It's just how you can perform in that Red Bull alongside Max Verstappen, and will it suit your style?
It's such a weird thing to think about, isn't it? Because it's supposed to be, the second team, you lead into Red Bull. But the characteristics are so fundamentally different between the two teams and the two cars that it is almost like they're getting themselves ready on a chopping block.
Such a mess now.
It's such a
mess.
Like, it's a junior team where they're literally leading their drivers to slaughter, like, and their careers, because the amount of drivers' careers that they've ended because they haven't been able to drive that Red Bull is wild. So what are we going to say, Tommy? Because I feel like your final thoughts need to be very coherent. So let's dive into them.
My final thoughts are just how I'm still in shock, but I'm absolutely fascinated to see this happen, because I wanted Yuki Tsunoda in that seat anyway. I really wanted to see how he'd get on, and we're now going to see it. And it's just an absolutely mad situation that we're here already. But we are going to get kind of a like for like comparison.
Now, let's play a little game. We're going to do it.
I know.
Where does Yuki Tsunoda
I knew you were
qualify?
going to say that.
Where does Yuki Tsunoda qualify for the Japanese Grand Prix? I'll go first. P12.
Oh my god, I was going to say P12. Like, genuinely was going to say P12.
Oh my god, get out of my head.
That's terrible.
Get out of my head, you dirty dog. What are you going to say? Come on. Slightly better or slightly worse after I've gone for P12?
I had P12 in my mind, so I'm going to go... I'll go P11.
I love how P11 is believing. That is absolutely wild. Does that make Perez the greatest of all time?
Maybe.
Potentially. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Big shout out to Alex Jakes once again for allowing this to happen. Otherwise you would have had the worst audio quality in the history of the land. Can't wait to see how it unfolds. On a human level, this is absolutely savage and horrible for Liam Lawson. But from an entertainment perspective, as you said, having a comparison to drivers that you've always wanted to have, it's like playing the F1 game and just chucking drivers in a team and then just seeing who wins. Like that is literally what Red Bull are right now.
Yeah, they really are.
And it might not be the end of this story. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Lots of love. Take care. Sweet dreams. Goodbye.
Goodbye.